One thing I do like to do, or try to do, which I know is a bit of an eye roll, is to try and elevate boring or ugly things. I don't know if I should admit this, it feels like interior sacrilege, but... Hi, I'm Phoebe McDowell and this is how I live with style. I am the Interiors and Beauty Director of the Sunday Times Style, and I've lived here for about 3 years now. I very naively thought it was going to be a cosmetic renovation, really fun, but it turned out that everything that could be wrong with the flat was wrong with the flat. I had no clue what I was doing, but I muddled through. And then it was time for the fun bit, the design. As Interiors Director of Style, I am lucky enough to visit some amazing homes, and I've picked up a lot of hacks and solutions and just little design tidbits along the way. One of them being this inbuilt bar cabinet, which Beata Heyman has in her Hammersmith home. I'm a passionate host and a passionate drinker. I like to keep all my nice looking bottles here, all the ugly half-drunk ones are out of sight. So one of my favourite pieces of furniture in the flat is this limed oak wall shelf that I bought from the Battersea Decorative Arts Fair. I was exceptionally hungover and I didn't want to go, but my best friend is an interior designer and he was sourcing for a project, so he dragged me. And how glad I am that I went, because I came home with this and I absolutely love it. It was perfect to add a little bit of storage above my radiator. I'm not quite sure what the spike is intended for, but anybody who smashes my nice glasses might find out. As a journalist, I love to read and write, but my very favourite thing to do is to entertain and to host. So a huge priority when looking for my flat was somewhere that was good for hosting, good for entertaining. And this being so open plan is exactly that. My guests can be in here eating, drinking, chilling and chatting, and I can be slaving away in the kitchen. So let's go and have a look. I don't know if I should admit this, it feels like interior sacrilege, but I am not really a mood board kind of person. I don't ever have a definitive plan. I tend to put it all together, see what sticks, and inevitably make loads of changes, but that's just the way I work. One thing I did do though, which I was very proud of myself for, is that I decided on a colour scheme and I really stuck to it and tried to let that dictate where I went with each room. So I sat with Farrow and Ball samples and tried to work out how I could create some kind of cohesive flow colour-wise, because it is a small flat and when you walk in you can more or less see every room. With it being so neutral in here, I knew that I could be a bit punchy with the marble, so I went with this Rosso Levanto marble that I'd seen at a hotel in Italy that I stayed in years ago that I loved. I know from a practical point of view that marble just seems mad. There are citrus stains and coffee stains and red wine stains all over it, and it's dull in places and it's marked, but I never want to live in a show home, so I think you just got to get over it. It's fine. I love collecting glassware and ceramics and all sorts from holidays, and also practical, pretty, but pointless presents from your mother. So this is a little dusting brush. One of my Christmas presents this year, in addition to, one second, this ostrich feather duster. I'm not sure what point she was trying to make. Storage is a constant battle, hence why I actually never turn my bottom oven on, because in here, Carrie Bradshaw stores her shoes and I store all my roasting tins. So that is just another cupboard, really. Speaking of storage, another thing that I did to maximise it was to have this banquette put in with seat cushions on top, but they flap open and they go all the way to the ground, so I can stick everything in there. All my dinner party stuff, crockery, all sorts, you name it. This is my bedroom, and as with entertaining in a one-bed flat, people do tend to spill out into my bedroom when I have parties. which there is evidence of here in this gigantic drink stain on my sisal carpet. Sisal looks lovely, but not the best for wear and tear. I just try not to be too precious about things. I never want my guests to feel like they have to be looking for a coaster or taking their shoes off or can't relax. I've always wanted this to be somewhere where people come and feel completely at home. The shape of the room was a bit of a head scratcher. It's just got so many random higgledy-piggledy blocks of concrete and beams and God knows what else. So I painted it all in a dead flat matte, which is the type of paint finish from Farrow & Ball, just to try and conceal as much of the jumble as possible. And I also had all my radiators sprayed in exactly the same colour as the rooms. So I found a cast iron radiator company in Scotland who colour matched them all. So next door in the bathroom, I found some nickel Art Deco-y taps in Lefroy Brooks, and I loved them, and everything else kind of stemmed from there. The green and white Zelig tiled floor was completely inspired by a Giancarlo Valle project, who is a design studio. Everything's got a kind of Art Deco steer, and I did take out the bath, which is a very sore subject because I do miss it, but I do love having my showers in there every day. One thing I do like to do, or try to do, which I know is a bit of an eye roll, is to try and elevate boring or ugly things, try and make them a bit more enjoyable. Hanging up washing being one, it is an unavoidable fact of life. Enter my friend Aaron's clothes horse, which folds out like an accordion, like so. And it actually makes hanging washing and having washing out not a horrible experience, which I think people in one-bed flats in London can agree is a real bummer. My hallway is very long and skinny and there is next to no natural light, but I just chose to embrace it and painted it in a high gloss, sunny shade of ochre. And then the runner is the saving grace, so obviously it was impossible to find one that was going to fit the space, but I had this made. I just sent my dimensions and an old design, an old Swedish design that I'd seen, to a company in India called Mohini Creations, and they were so brilliant and so reasonable. These are my grandparents who were big into design, specifically Italian design, and I have no doubt that I inherited a lot of my appreciation from them. These are actually their chairs. These are Vico Magistretti Caramite chairs, and I've just resuscitated them by painting them blue, but I used to sit and have my tea on these every week, so they are a nice nostalgic piece. And then I also have their Vico Magistretti Marilunga sofa. I think they bought this in about 1962, and it's still in impeccable condition. The original fabric, and there's actually a photograph of them with some of their friends, looking to be having a very sophisticated time, smoking indoors, of course, and drinking like fish. My parties look a little bit different, but it's really nice to have a piece of them in the flat. Thanks so much for looking around my flat with me. I hope you enjoyed it. And for more videos, don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Times Style YouTube channel.